on my cash stack. High yields on stable coins, yeah, that's where my bag at. All I really need is Wi-Fi, get money on DeFi, mega cash on M.I.M.S. You better run when the runners run, show you how to get your money up. Dollar inflated like bubble gum, markets are jumping like double dutch. Buying up gold till I get a ton, crypto, yeah, I got some. You better run when the runners run, you better run when the runners.
All right, good evening, everyone. It's time to run. It's Tuesday, June 11th, 2024. Tonight, we are talking about the death of the dollar and 3 steps you guys can take right now to secure your wealth and your family's legacy. As always, I got my good brother here, Ricardo Hamilton, aka M.I.M.S, making it make sense. Bro, I heard a rumor everything's going up. Have you heard about this?
Look, it's up and it's up and it's up and it's stuck. Okay, let's go. Man,
Classes in session.
Classes in session, man. Sound money session. You know, we get excited all the time when we realize just where we are in the world and the opportunity that we have. And some people are moved by the markets. Some people are influenced by the media. And you have to know that it's a distraction. Okay. These are opportunities. And unfortunately, a lot of people see negative things like markets are down, or they see their wallet or their money's down a little bit, and not realizing that it's really an opportunity for you to accumulate more, especially when you really understand the value of what we have, Mike. That's why we get excited about the value and not so much about where the prices are of things right now. But of course, we got a phenomenal show for you guys, highlighting the crisis by also highlighting the opportunity in the crisis. And, you know, we're excited to bring that to you. So, but I'm doing good, brother. Up, and I'm stuck. How you, man?
Hey, I'm doing awesome, man. I had a great birthday weekend, and It was kind of historic. I'm trying to chill and relax, and I'm seeing on my news feeds of like the death of the dollar is on June 9th. My birthday. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm trying to, relax. I'm like, what do you mean? My birthday is the death of the dollar? Like, what's going on here? So we're going to break that down because this is the end of historic 50-year run for the petrodollar system. So we're going to break that down for you guys. But let's first start off with some good news, M.I.M.S. Okay. One of the cryptocurrencies that we brought to our community under a penny about 3 months ago, we were buying Brett. And it has gone up 311% in less than a month.
Wow.
So shout out to the runners who took action. And, there's lots of things to pay attention to right now. But I'm just glad that we at least turned our community onto this early. And that, a lot of people made 500, 1,000% in the last 2 to 3 months. So that's a good thing. We put that out into our Telegram of take profit. As you can see, it's going down. I sold some at 19 cents. So let's just celebrate the positive right now because I know there's a lot of negativity out there. But let's cover the markets really quick here and see where we're at because I want to get into this historic, monumental shift in global currency. As always, gold is the #1 asset in the world. We're at 15.6 trillion market cap. The price is 2,328. Apple moves up to number 3. Nvidia is down to 4. We have Google, Amazon, oil. Then we have silver, Bitcoin, and Facebook. And think about it, M.I.M.S. Almost everything we're doing right now, whether you're on a computer watching us or you're on your phone or you have a graphics processor, you Googled this, or you need oil, silver, Bitcoin, gold, almost everything we're doing right now, people need these top 10 assets. So the point is, how do you profit and capitalize on the top 10 assets in the world?
Yeah, that's why we get excited about not get rich quick, but getting wealthy slow. And the thing about it is that when you know that you have the right assets, it's just a matter of time before your lifestyle reflects the wealth that you hold. This is why, once again, I say it again, we get excited about the value, because it's not about where the price of these assets are now, but it's about the dynamics and the circumstances that are going to make these assets worth even more which creates a more secure financial lifestyle for you and for your generations to come. So this is why it's so important, when you see silver and gold and Bitcoin at these levels, and whether they're going, especially if they're going down, the opportunity for you to accumulate more, because that it's just a matter of time. And obviously we're on the precipice of this monetary reset, and some of the things that we're going to talk about, obviously with the petrodollar and things of that nature. But we always like to show that, just to confirm that we are in the right place ahead of time, in the right assets, gold, silver, crypto.
And again, like we told you guys, crypto is probably just going to kind of chop, up, down this whole summer until we kind of take off in the fall. But I mean, think about this, Mims. Most people don't have Bitcoin, yet it has a larger market cap than the top 3 banks in the world combined.
Hmm.
So Bitcoin has a larger market cap than JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, and the Bank of China. Yet most people still have not learned or understood how to use and leverage and utilize Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. This is the calm before the storm in cryptocurrency. So we're not going to focus on crypto a lot tonight, but again, it's going to be one of the solutions, and you guys have got to start to learn and educate how to move in this space. If this statistic that is a verifiable fact doesn't get you excited about, I need to learn more about blockchain and cryptocurrency, I don't know what will.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is more confirmation. Banks are done. Blockchain is the future, and understand something, as we get into 2025 and so on and so on. You're going to see more integration in blockchain. You're going to see more use in blockchain and less use in banks, especially as we have more banks getting ready to collapse here, and the old financial system is just done with. Blockchain technology is here. It's here to stay. It's where the money will be moved. Okay. And that's why it's so important that you hear early, because as more money comes in, the value of the assets that you have now are worth even more.
And so for those of you watching tonight, guys, give this a like, give it a share, give us some comments down in the section because we really want to educate you on.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a historic time to be alive of what's going on. So
Yeah.
let's
And it
first,
comes,
Mims.
yeah, I was going to say, it comes down to conceptualization. That's all. We're just here to help people really conceptualize what this means, what this data means, what are people holding, what's going on in the market, because people can just hear this stuff, but they're not everybody's able to really process it and put a little vision and foresight, or a little critical thinking to see the opportunity. And so that's why we go live consistently, to help people understand what we have, digested, what we have, studied and understood, and what we're doing, so you could take advantage, and others as well.
Yeah. So again, we gotta start with some history here and make sure you guys understand what we're talking about. Is a monetary system will usually last about 50 years.
Hmm.
So from the end of World War II to when we went off the gold standard with Nixon in 1972, that was called the Bretton Woods. Lasted about
Yeah.
50 years, right? 45,
Hmm.
72.
Hmm.
Since 73 until now, about 50 years, we've been in what's called the petrodollar system, okay, which
Hmm.
was like the dollar gold standard from 44 to 71. Petro just means oil. So we made a deal with Saudi Arabia, the United States did, that would increase oil demand, which would increase dollar demand, which would increase the standard of living in the United States. So the OPEC countries, or the countries in the Middle East, right? Saudi Arabia, UAE, would get military protection from the US. And we just said, listen, we'll give you this protection, but anytime anyone in the world buys oil, they must use dollars, not another currency, right? Not gold. They must use dollars, right? So that increases the demand for dollars. In order to get oil, energy, you have to have dollars. And this worked out great for us. Okay. Everyone needed to have dollars because everyone needed oil. This increased the demand for dollars. So we were able to just create dollars out of thin air and increase our US debt limit. And if anyone didn't do this, whether it was Saddam Hussein in Iraq or Gaddafi in Libya or whatever the dude was from Iran, they refused to take US dollars. We just took them out, right? We were just our military. You don't you try to sell oil in dollars, you done, son. Uh
Yeah.
Mims, did I Mims that okay or anything you want to add to it?
No, brother. Yeah, brother. No, you said it perfect. And I think the main thing that people need to understand is that the dollar is not money.
Mm,
Okay. People think that the dollar is money, and they're working for this thing, 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week. They're saving in this thing, this piece of paper. They're putting it in their retirement and their 401ks. They're expecting it for in Social Security, but they don't understand that that's not money. That is debt. It is fiat currency, and it's losing value. It's losing status. It's losing credibility around the world. And now a death blow, in my opinion, has been sent to it. And the last nail in the coffin, which eliminated any use for it globally, which was the petrodollar. And so understand something, that the dollar is not money. And as soon as you grasp that, then you see what you're holding and what you're working for as a liability. And when you understand what a liability is, you understand you want to get rid of liabilities, and you want to convert liabilities into assets. And that is how you
mm.
preserve and grow your wealth. I mean, that's what you're working for. You're working to accumulate money or wealth, and you want that wealth to grow and preserve for you, and and increase. But you cannot do that saving and holding on to dollars, because a dollar is not an instrument that facilitates
Nope.
that function anymore. You have to convert it, transfer it, exchange it for physical silver, physical gold, and cryptocurrency. It's God's money, gold and silver. That's real money. The dollar was money when it was backed by gold. That was a certificate because you could get gold for it. That's why the dollar was money. If you couldn't get gold for the if you couldn't get gold for the dollar is just a piece of paper, and that's what we have today.
Yeah, and Patty, this is a great comment here, and I wanna be clear here. So Patty says it will be a while before the end of
For
the
the end of the
dollar,
dollar.
probably not in our
Hmm.
lifetime.
Hmm.
Um, that may be true, but I made a post today that me was pretty genius of trying to save in dollars is like holding on to ice in the desert. So will
Hmm.
the dollar be here in 10 years? Of course, I think it will. Okay. So we're not saying the dollar's going to collapse and there's going to be all sorts of, financial craziness, but we can all look at the data and we can see the dollar is continually going down since the
Yeah, it's a
Federal
trend.
Reserve of 1913. It's a trend,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And I would just add on to that. We're not saying that like the dollar is going away tomorrow. It might be
No.
perceived that way, and that's the wrong way to perceive it. Because even when you study the fiat currencies throughout history, there have been hundreds, and I do mean hundreds, over 800 fiat currencies throughout history, and they all have went to zero. And the United States dollar is a fiat currency like all other fiat currencies, and it will go to zero. Now, will that happen in our lifetime? Maybe, maybe not. But I'm saying that to say, even in Venezuela, or Zimbabwe, other countries, the currency is still being used. But what does it buy you?
Mm.
The dollar doesn't have to go away. But how many dollars does it take for you to, get a chicken or orange or a tissue? I
A
mean, you can go
McChicken.
right now, yeah, get a McChicken, right? How many dollars do it take for you to get a McChicken? A thousand? Yeah, sure, the dollar's still around, but if it takes you $1,000 to get a McChicken, I mean, what's the point even talking about dollars for? I
Right.
mean, that's what happened in Venezuela when their currency crisis happened. Turkey and other, just do the research and you'll see what happens when currencies crash. Hyperinflation. I mean, you can go to Google right now and type in Venezuela currency crisis and a chicken, and it's literally like a whole pile of money on the table you have to have for a chicken or a tissue. It wasn't even,
It
nobody saves in fiat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it comes down to the frog in boiling water always. They're not
Yeah.
going to make massive moves. They're going to be very slow and methodical and just bleed you of your wealth over time if you don't go against the grain
Yeah.
and not do what the masses are doing.
Yeah.
So I have found the best short video to make this simple. We're going to kind of break it down. And again, this is a historic moment because, again, Saudi Arabia has not sold oil for anything other than dollars in 50 years. This is, I call it the beginning of the end. Okay. And it's time to get positioned right now. So we want to break this video down for you guys just to make sure you understand the historic significance of this time.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well today. Thank you so much for tuning in. It was announced that Saudi Arabia joined a CBDC project, M.I.M.S, which is a massive, truly massive experiment that is led by the Bank for International Settlements. Saudi Arabia is moving full steam ahead. It is joining Project M.I.M.S as a full.
So just so we don't lose everybody, CBDC is a central bank digital currency, which we do not want, which would take away the rights of every citizen. All right. We have M-Bridge. That's the new thing that's helping countries send and receive currency all over the world for global trade. Okay. That's a challenge to the US. So we're talking about Saudi Arabia joining M-Bridge, which is the beginning of the end for the US dollar dominance. Just wanted to set that up so we don't lose anyone here. Lena Petrova is just a great YouTuber. She just breaks it down, keeps it really simple, and then we'll kind of add to what she's doing here.
Participant after being an observing member. One important feature is M-Bridge does not support US dollar payments. And while there appear to be many speculations that this move will end the petrodollar as we know it, I'm actually of the opinion that it has very little, if any, connection to the petrodollar, or in other words, to the use of the United States dollar for crude oil settlements between Saudi Arabia and its partners. And I will tell you why in just a minute. But first, let's go over the details of the announcement. As you may already know, Project M-Bridge is blockchain-based. It was launched about 3 years ago, back in 2021. Effectively, it is a potential alternative to the SWIFT payment messaging system. And it is effectively a collaboration between.
Okay. I think this is huge, M.I.M.S. Again, we're not doomsday people here, trying to tell you the world's going to end tomorrow. SWIFT is the major way countries and banks send money around the world. The USA took Russia out of it. Okay. So blockchain is challenging the traditional banking system. All right. That is a huge shift. M.I.M.S, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, the thing about what's going on is that it's happening. And that's the main thing that people really need to understand. And because that information can be empowering, but your lack of understanding of it can be enslaving. Because if you don't understand what's going on, you can find yourself in a position in life that you might not want to be in. And it literally just came down to you taking action and understanding the opportunity that we have right now. So, but this is a trend. This is happening. It's nothing is stopping it, and it's accelerating.
Yeah, the key here is, guys, you have to diversify and get into blockchain because it is the future. If Saudi Arabia is starting to sell oil through the blockchain, that's huge,
Yeah.
right? Doesn't mean it's
Yeah.
going to all do it tomorrow, but
Yeah.
it means you need to pay attention, start to diversify.
Yeah, and real quickly, especially as the U.S. continues to weaponize SWIFT, you see the sanctions were a blowback. The sanctions hurt the U.S. economy. They thought it was going to hurt Russia and these other countries, and they're doing better. They have very low debt compared to the United States. We're the most indebted nation. The SWIFT system and the dollar has been weaponized, and the world is seeing just how unfair the justice system is, the legal system is, the financial system is, in so many ways. And they're saying that that we no longer can have the U.S. be the in charge of all of this anymore because it's unfair and it's not democratic in any form. And so we're finding substitutes that we can trust and that are reliable, and that's blockchain.
Yeah, and I would say there's a big difference, Patty, between blockchain and CBDCs. And we, at least in America, have to vote against that. There's obviously one candidate for it, one candidate against it, but that's a whole different story for another time.
Between 6 participating central banks and the central bank for all global central banks, the Bank for International Settlements. I have an entire video on this unique entity. If you're interested to learn more about it and how it came about and how it functions, I will link that video in the description below. Project M.Bridge is blockchain based, as I mentioned, and it uses the M.Bridge ledger to operate. This is a truly massive project that is being supported by the International Monetary Fund, IMF, the World Bank, as well as observed by central banks of South Korea, Turkey, and Norway. So those countries may potentially become full members as well, and I certainly expect them to become full members at some point later this year. Besides these powerful entities I just mentioned, private banks such as HSBC, Goldman, and China-based private financial firms are also participating in this experiment. As you can see, it's not surprising that the Central Bank of Saudi Arabia made it public that it is collaborating with the central banks of Hong Kong, the UAE, China, and Thailand to help develop a central bank digital currency that would be used for trade settlements. Therefore, it is a wholesale CBDC that they're working on. M.Bridge is going to facilitate cross-border trade, which is the main driver of Saudi economy. Saudi Arabia is first and foremost interested in increasing its crude oil sales as well as attracting foreign direct investments to help it achieve its Vision 2030. So does joining M.Bridge mean an end to the petrodollar? That is the big question. In my opinion, absolutely not. And it means an end to an illusion, rather, that the launch of a central bank digital currency is light years away. It's certainly not the case. It's going to happen sooner than we think. And in this particular case, a wholesale CBDC has no implication on individuals, but it is.
So I think that's a good point there, M.I.M.S.
Mm.
Banks are so far in the past, they can barely send money to each other now. So if it's a wholesale CBDC, meaning banks can move payments across rails, across countries, and it's just the banks dealing with it, I'm okay with that. Essentially, SWIFT is a CBDC. It just really sucks as a CBDC.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, we're
difference would be us using a CBDC.
right. Yeah, I mean, we're just ahead of the curve. If you're watching this live stream, you're just ahead. You know, the G7 nations are in decline. BRICS are growing. In fact, the BRIC nations, Brazil, Russia, India, and China, South Africa, their GDP as a whole has outpaced and is growing at a greater rate than the G7 nations. In fact, the G7 nations GDP is in decline. And so what we're seeing here, and we're just ahead of the trend. Actually, we're so, that's why we tell people you're so early, because the world is changing, and who sets that standard is changing. And I tell people all the time, I'd rather be 1 year or even 2 years too early than 1 day too late. And so this information we're sharing is so you're not too late to when the switch actually flicks. And we might be a year early, 2 years, could be 5, could be the 2030 agenda. But understand something, that 2030 will come. And in that time period, the decline of the G7 nations will continue while the rise of the BRICS nations will continue. And you're going to see that it's the international body that is setting the standard, and not so much the G7 Western bodies that are setting the standard. So it's choosing which side you want to be on. You know, right now the winning team is BRICS when it comes to the economies and the growth. Africa, they have the resources, and they're cutting out, you know, France, and they're cutting out these Western nations. And then, you know, the West is cutting off their ability to access the resources from Russia, and then they're not as favorable to the China and what goes on with China and then Taiwan and things. So there's some dynamics at play, and we just want to give you some options ahead of time before the options are limited.
Perfect. And it comes down to commodities, right? The problem with what the West is trying to do, and especially the US, is we have tried to just use military and debt and the rest of the world wants to use actual real commodities, which I think is a better idea of, I'm no expert though.
Most Austrian.
I am an Austria
Yeah.
economist.
Austrian economics. That's right.
Right.
It's safe to assume that retail CBDCs will follow shortly thereafter. The strength of the petrodollar depends on crude oil trade being denominated in United States dollars. The fact that China, the biggest oil importer in the entire world, and Saudi Arabia have already started trading using the renminbi certainly weakens the dollar because now there is less demand for it.
That's the big takeaway here. Okay. Again, this isn't a doomsday thing. The point is the demand for dollars, and they've already created God knows how many in the last 4 years, is going down because Saudi Arabia is not exclusively using the dollar, nor is China, and it's growing as Mims was explaining with the BRICS. That's the main takeaway here. It's the
Yeah.
beginning of the end. It could take 10 years, 20 years. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the demand for dollars is going down.
Yeah, contractually, they're not obligated, but Saudi Arabia is still pegging, it to the dollar, and they're still going to accept dollars for oil. What we're trying to get you aware of is just a trend, and that trend can save you because when you look at the decline of the dollar and the loss in purchasing power of it, and then when you look at gold now at an all-time high, and you look at what's going on with silver and obviously Bitcoin and everything else, it would just obviously show you that when it comes to your savings, you don't want to save in dollars. The world is not required as much to even hold or use dollars. So you would want to pivot and make a change in how you view the dollar, how you hold the dollar, and and how how you would save and invest. That's what this information is. It's not to doomsday, but it's to empower you.
Mm.
So you don't perish for lack of knowledge, but so you can be enlightened and see the way.
Nailed it.
No, perfect, brother. That's it.
Nevertheless, let's be realists. Saudi Arabia will continue settling transactions in United States dollars with its Western and regional partners. It will do both, and it will benefit from it tremendously. And whether it is using a CBDC, the digital dollar, or its, let's say, traditional version, that has absolutely no implication, no impact on the petrodollar itself. Here's why this move benefits Saudi Arabia. A crucial part of Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030 is to diversify its economy. Therefore, Saudi Arabia is playing a new kind of game here, and we have to recognize it. It is leveraging its strengthening ties with China, and it's also using its existing relationship with the United States as leverage. It is balancing both, and it will likely continue doing so because it will help it achieve a more independent foreign policy moving forward. Saudi Arabia has no intention to confront the United States in a blunt manner, which would only serve to hurt its own Saudi economy, of course, as well as its security, since Saudi Arabia purchases military equipment from the United States and has been for decades. Remember that the kingdom just entered into a multilateral contract with Lockheed Martin, and it's going to produce weapons with the American firm. While its decision to accept renminbi for its oil transactions, for its oil trade, certainly undermines the dollar, its move to join M.I.M.S is a matter of convenience, and it is just a part of its strategy to modernize its payment systems and to become a key global player. M.I.M.S will enable Saudi Arabia to trade with China and the United States simultaneously, using different currencies and different systems, different platforms, M.I.M.S and SWIFT, as well as to enjoy the convenience of instant trade settlements. And so it will continue doing that, and it will benefit from it tremendously. But remember that Saudi Arabia is interested in growing its economy, and if it stops doing business with the United States, if it indicates that it is leaning towards the east, it will be a tremendous disadvantage in the path to achieving that economic development that the prince desperately wants. For example, Saudi's push to modernize its payment system has resulted in digital payments in Saudi Arabia.
So when I was watching this M.I.M.S, this blew me away, right? Digital payments in Saudi Arabia rise to 70% of retail transactions. Transactions processed through national payment system hits 10.8 billion. Transaction by digital means processed through national payment systems grew by 24% annually to 10.8 billion payments. Saudi Arabia has been promoting electronic payments as part of its financial sector development program, part of the country's 2030 plan to diversify its economy. So the point here, guys, is digital payments are the future, without a doubt. I mean, most
Yeah.
of what we do here is digital. So to not embrace this, to not get ahead of it, to not understand, Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, you're getting left behind. You're like the person in the 90s saying, I don't want to learn about the internet. I don't care about email. I mean, if you're saying that today about blockchain and Bitcoin, you're going to get left behind.
Yeah, you're definitely going to, just follow the trend. The thing is, a lot of people think they have a choice, and you really don't have a choice. And that's the problem, because when you realize you don't have a choice, and you realize the sooner that you take advantage and learn this, the better for yourself. It's the same thing what happened with cash and checks. People just used to do cash and checks, balancing their checkbook, and then they brought on plastic, Visa cards, MasterCards, and people didn't want that. They were, people are slow to change. They liked what they were used to doing. But now you see today, everybody has plastic in their wallet. Everybody does Visa and MasterCard. So in the very near future, could be, but in the very near future, everybody's going to be using digital payments. They're already getting rid of cash. They haven't created any new paper currency since 2017. There's no new 2024 notes, no 2022 notes, no 2020 notes. They're getting rid of cash. Everything is going digital, and everybody will be interacting with the blockchain in some form or fashion. Those of us who are getting in early are the ones who are going to benefit the most.
Nailed it.
Surging in recent years, they reached 70% of all retail transactions in the kingdom. The second reason why Saudi Arabia will sell its natural resources to China and its Western partners is the fact that doing this allows it to have more leverage and more influence on the United States. If it quits using the dollar, it would mean that it's leaning too much towards the East, which undeniably benefits China, but it gives too much power to China, which Saudi Arabia, of course, is unlikely to do at the same time. Saudi Arabia is not in the business of making those type of gifts to China or to the United States if the roles were reversed. So Saudi Arabia will use both, and it will balance them in a way that makes West Asia even more of a region where the imperial interests of the West and the newly established power of the East collide. Just like the UAE, Saudi Arabia is positioning itself to play both off of each other very well.
So, hats off to Saudi Arabia here. They're just playing both sides. They're just being smart. I got no hate towards Saudi Arabia, but they're just like, we dated for 50 years with the U.S. We were exclusive
Right.
for 50 years. We want to
Right.
test the waters. We want to play the field here.
Right.
China's
Yeah, I
throwing
mean,
us some. China's throwing us some money here. Let's go.
right. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. And the thing is that you're not going to get this on mainstream media. They're not going to articulate it this way. They're not going to really put it in that perspective. They're not going to give you any solutions to hedge against it. And so we just want to be on top of that for ourselves and for our community. And, this is why we're giving you this information the way that we give it. And then we also give you the best resources, the best places to go to actually take the action that's needed to take advantage of the opportunity that we have, knowing ahead of time of what's to come. Before, we didn't have this information. People didn't know, or were able to put two and two together, but now we can. The information is at our fingertips. And so now we're the masters of our own destiny, because they have a plan for you and you don't like the plan. You're not going to like, the system that they have designed for you, but you could be the master of your own destiny if you understand what's going on right now and you take certain action with your money. You can write your own ticket, chart your own lifestyle. That's the opportunity we have.
That's it. So, guys, let's talk solutions here, right? Because again, we're not gloom and doom at all. I think this is the best time to be alive. I think 2024 is where you need to position yourself for the greatest wealth transfer. So, I'm going to keep it really simple, guys. The death of the dollar has been happening since 1913, and it's going to continue to happen. The question is, what are you going to do about it?
Mm.
We got three simple solutions. The first one has been working for over 10,000 years, Mims. It is the most tried and true, tested wars, famines, World War II, nuclear bombs is to buy physical, real money, gold and silver. That's it, guys. It's so
Yep.
simple. It's not crazy. It's not sexy. You're not going to get rich overnight. But over time, long term, when you have that long term vision and you understand legacy and transforming your family's wealth, right? You are going to understand there's two metals that have stood the test of time, that have always been real money through everything that's ever happened in the entire history of the world. And I don't think we're going to see anything new. It's to buy real money, gold and silver, MIMS, make it make sense of why people need to be doing that every single month.
Yeah, I hope that you guys can kind of see the picture that is being painted. I hope you can see how the yellow brick road, leads to the Wizard of Oz and this fake money system, and that it's gold and silver. That's going to
Mhm.
make it sure that you have a home. The same way silver got Dorothy home by clicking her heels. They were silver, by the way. They weren't ruby, but the movie
Yeah,
changed
I
it.
was I was hoping you're going to point that out.
Yeah, yeah. They were
Those
silver.
shoes weren't ruby.
No, they weren't. They were silver and they were walking on the yellow brick road, but it was silver that got them home. And I think that it's so important that people understand that it's going to be silver and gold that make sure that you have a home. It's going to be silver and gold that make sure that you can create and build a generational home, generational wealth. As the money system is exposed, as the great Wizard of Oz of this matrix is being exposed on a global scale at on unprecedented rates, and we see the emergence of blockchain and AI and everything else. Okay, the solution for the average person, because a lot of people don't understand blockchain, man.
Nope.
And me and Mike make it look easy and simple, and for us it is. But some people it's hard to copy and paste, let alone write down some seed phrases. And no matter how many times you tell them, it's hard. But gold and silver are the simplest and easiest and most trusted ways to secure your wealth and preserve the value of your money. It's God's money. It's been money since the times of Egypt. It's money in Africa, Asia, Europe, the Americas. It's easy liquidatable. It's constitutional money. I mean, you cannot go wrong with gold and silver. That's how you save your money in physical silver and gold.
So, guys, again, we have the best prices on gold and silver, point blank, period. Get back to us or somebody who shared this video with you to show you how you can get the best prices, the lowest prices on gold and silver, and it's not even close. Now,
That's right.
the second one is DCA means dollar cost average. That means set up an automatic buy of cryptocurrency. From everything you guys saw tonight, the future is digital. We're on the internet right now, which 30 years ago, people didn't even know what it was. Okay. The future is digital. Digital money is here. Like Ricardo said, I know a lot of people don't have time or they can't learn about cryptocurrencies and all that. I get it. Okay. Set up a buy. We teach you guys how to do this. Buy $10 of Bitcoin a week, $10 of Ethereum a month. I don't care what you do. Just set it and forget it. Okay. That's the simple, easy way into cryptocurrency. The third one is you cannot make money quicker than they can create it. It's impossible. Okay. So you have to create more cash flow right now. So if you want to get another job and work more time, you can do that. Not a bad idea. Or you can start a home-based business in the money business where you're helping people get more real money so you can get more cash flow. So M.I.M.S, I'll let you M.I.M.S those last two and kind of break it down for people of what they need to do right now to survive what's happening.
Yeah, I think the second one is very simple. Look, just obviously constantly, continuously, consistently, convert dollars into assets, saving Bitcoin, saving, or accumulate your favorite cryptocurrency. I'm very bullish on XRP and XLM and ISO tokens, knowing that the money will be moved. These will be the rails. I think for immediate gains and, what we're seeing in the market, those other cryptos are the play, but you want to have your investments or an exposure in the blockchain and crypto space while saving in gold and silver. And then of course, cash flow is still king. Okay. Cash flow is king. So somebody might say, well, you just said, oh, the dollar this and the dollar that. Yes, that comes when it comes to saving dollars. But in regards to cash flow, you want your cash flow, because if you don't have cash flow, it's just a matter of time before you're selling your Bitcoin, selling your crypto, selling your gold and silver, because you need to maintain your living. You need to maintain your lifestyle. You want to go out and do your things, right? So this is why we share opportunities that are not only going to allow us to save in silver and gold, allow us to get into crypto, but also create cash flow. Okay. I tell people all the time, if you're relying on one stream of income, you're a disaster waiting to happen. And that's true. And so we're actually getting paid to save in silver and gold with our new company that has the best prices on precious metals. Okay. The best compensation plan I've ever seen. No gotchas. All right. Very lucrative. And we're excited about that. We're excited about accumulating assets, physical silver and gold. Nobody's beating our prices. We have the best prices on the planet. Okay. We're getting the metal at no markup, and we're creating cash flow in the process. And we have other ways that we create cash flow. But the point is that you want to make sure that you are creating additional streams of income, not relying on one stream of income, especially that additional stream of income needs to be a home-based business or some type of position where you are able to leverage the tax code. And that just end the stream. What? Huh? Mike, you can't hear me? I just got a text from Mike. He says, okay, well, I think it's you, Mike. I think it's you. Let me let him know. How somebody in the chat, let us know. Somebody in the chat. I'll finish out my statement, but somebody in the chat in the meantime, let me know if you guys can hear me. But I'll finish what I was saying is that, you want to put yourself in position to have a home-based business, have multiple streams of income. So just end it whenever. Okay. Okay. Yeah, you want to have a home-based business to put yourself in position to reduce your tax exposure and have some legitimate write-offs and deductions. So with that being said, okay, RJ said he can hear me. Okay, cool. So we're still good. Well, Mike's having some issues, some technical issues. Okay, thank you, Jason. I'm glad y'all let me know. So Mike's having some technical issues. But we were closing out. And just in closing, we're just saying, look, this is the opportunity to make sure that a wealthy family comes from you if you didn't come from a wealthy family, by capitalizing on the trends and the narrative that's taking place in the market and doing the right things with your dollars. Not get rich quick, but over time, just slowly building the wealth. This is why, I always have the bricks with me, whether it's the bricks or whether it's the 10-ounce bars that we're getting at the best price from the new company that we have here, where we're paying no markup, whether it's, unique silver pieces, silver bullets, 10-ounce bullets, even nice little collectible coins like this. I mean, these are assets, and these are going up in value, and they're easily liquidatable. And, whether it's coins like this, we're saving this every single month, and I get paid to get this coin. I'm creating a cash flow system by helping people get the asset. You know what I mean? So we get excited about that because we understand what's going on in the market, and it's really simple. It doesn't have to be too complex. Like I said, crypto for some people can get a little, a little complex, right? But saving in silver or gold is easy. It's easy, So with that being said, we'll catch you guys on the next Runners Live show, which is next Tuesday at 10 p.m. We're also on a 30-day blitz. Okay. So until June 19th, we're doing presentations twice a day from at 2 p.m. and one is at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, showing people how to get silver and gold at the best price, no markup. Okay, with this new company, beating everybody on the planet, and showing you how to get paid at the same time for doing that, for saving in silver. So we're doing that at 2 p.m. and 9 p.m. And with that being said, we're going to catch you guys on the next Runners Live show. Austin, great. Yep, we're right there with you. And we'll see you guys later on. Everybody have a great night. Be safe. Be blessed. Be blessed. Lace up. Let's get wealthy. Peace.